Hi, this is Steve here in my workshop in Bellevue. Today we're doing Lesson 10, Assignment 3, which is the zero clearance insert for the jigs and fixtures on the Shopsmith Mark IV 7520 self-study course. And this is the zero clearance insert that you should have already cut out, minus this slot here. This happens after you drop the table down to cut with the blade. Before that, it looks like this one here, which is, you need one of these for the pattern from Shopsmith in order to trace your pattern, which if up here on the board here, you'll see I've traced it here. Our length is 15 7/8, width is 3 inches. We use a 5/8 inch straight bit, router bit, in order to route that slot there. And we use a 1/8 inch straight router bit to do this slot here and then that far. So, and then to do your holes here, 27/64 for a shank hole there, 19/64 on a shank hole there, and then we countersink each of those, so the screw is going to fit in there perfectly. So you want to make sure before you start to make sure that your screws are actually seating down in there, just below the surface. Make sure on both of them, and of course we use the disc sander to do the rounded end on there. So before you start, you want to make sure, first of all, make sure that this fits in here, and that the screws are going to screw down, which I've already checked that out. And first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our blade is centered. Now, so we start out with the Shopsmith one first, and we put that in, and we'll go ahead and put the screws in on that. And this is just a double check to make sure that our blade is centered. And you should have your carriage pushed all the way against the motor, all the way against the rubber bumper on the motor. And if you do that, and I'm just going to drop this down till right there. We want the teeth on the blade to just down below there for now. And if it's lined up, that should go all the way down in there. Tighten up the black knob. Now, you reach under here and pull down on the spring-loaded guide, and by hand, you rotate that blade. Make sure that it's not running into the splitter on the saw guard. That's how we confirm that we've got it in there correctly. So that went smoothly. All right. Now we're going to take this out. Now we're going to put in the wooden one that you made. Now at this point, if for some reason yours is not fitting down in here, you may have to adjust the quill to do that. But if you have the original Shopsmith as it came from the factory, it should fit without you having to do the quill at all. So let's take out this and put in our wooden one. Okay, now when you put this in, you don't put it in like this. You have to have it actually down like this for it to sit down correctly. And we want this to go all the way down. I'll tighten my black knob. And you don't need to show this, but I'm going to pull that spring loaded down. I'm going to turn the blade by hand and it's not turning right. It's hitting something. Let's raise the table. It could be the underside of the insert that it's hitting. Okay. Now I'll try it again. Okay, now it turns freely. It's turning freely. It's not hitting anything. So now I know that I've got this riving knife installed correctly. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this down till the blade just starts to hit the underside of that. And then you will set your depth collar over here. We want that to be 1.5 inches between the carriage and that, because that's how far we want to drop. That table is down 1.5 inches. And you can use this, you can set this either using a ruler, or if you have some spacers like I do, and Dottie's going to hand those to me. Those two there is fine. So I have it set here. This happens to be exactly 1 inch wide. This is actually 1 inch wide, and this is 1/2 inch thick. So on this one, this just goes in here like this. Okay, and that gives me my 1.5 inches. Or not, you could just take a ruler and measure it. Because I want to make sure that I don't lose control of this wheel over here. Some of you probably have lost control, and then the table just drops. And we don't want that to go any further down than 1.5 inches, so that's going to protect us. All right, so we'll put on the safety glasses. I'm not going to turn on the motor and do this for you because it's already been done previously. But what happens is after plugging in the machine, turning on the power, doing our dust collection, we bring this up to speed on the table saw mode, and then as it's turning, you will gradually lower this down, and the blade will come up. And when it hits that stop collar, that's it. That's as deep as we want that to go. So that's how you're going to cut that when you cut it. My advice is to just make sure when you drop it through there, just do it very slowly as it's cutting through. And then when you're done, it's going to look just like this. And of course, you notice here I wrote on it combination. That's for the blade that I do, a combination blade. And I got 1 inch because that means I've got this set for doing stock up to 1 inch thick. Because if we look on the side here, this is about 1 inch and 1.25 inches above the table right now. So if I put 1 inch stock, that gives me 1/4 inch elevation of my blade above the stock. If you want to do thicker stock, then you would do a separate insert for that. All right. So that's the end of this one on the zero clearance insert. And of course, you should have made 3 of these all at once. You can make more if you want. And so you can either make your own like this, or you can buy the Shopsmith ones. Either way. All right. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.